Blessings from Love Healing Transformations and Eve Marie. A lot of people come to me and don't really know what to expect. I have a lot of information on my website, lovehealingtransformations.com. But I'd like to sort of go through the process, I guess, of what to expect. So the space is sacred space, which means there's intent and prayer involved. The healing room is, I guess, primed for a really gentle spiritual guidance. So when people arrive, we generally have a bit of a debrief as to what to sort of expect or what's been coming up for them. And I explain that in detail based on sort of intuitively what's sort of coming up for me and coming up for the person. So after the debrief, I sort of explain the session and go through the process of how to breathe. We don't really know how to breathe most of the time. We're in our upper respiratory. So I go through the process of really breathing into the belly breath. And then I explain the touch. I explain the bodywork side of things as to the sensations that one feels when one is feeling touch. And going deeper into that. So yes, we feel it physically, but what do we feel emotionally? What feelings come up for us when we feel that touch? And we can feel pain as well. And that pain is generally trauma that has been embedded in our muscles. I work at a deeper level, which is that cellular level. Bodywork is very intuitive, and there's also, it works at a cellular level, so it can really rewrite history. Really, we can go within, we can really feel what's coming up for us, release it through the breath, release it through the voice, our throat chakra, and allow that sound to, I guess, dissipate those feelings that are coming up for us. So some people experience sadness, some people experience frustration, anger, grief, all of it that has been suppressed in our daily lives. And this can be our life. It can also be our mother's life and our father's life and our, that ancestral lineage. And we hold on to that. We're gifted that by our parents and our parents' parents and parents' parents. And if they haven't done any of that healing work, they literally pass it down to us in our blueprint. So bodywork goes that deep. We have to be willing and, I guess, vulnerable. It is a very vulnerable space. And I guess I facilitate that space and that healing and that safe space for people to be able to drop into their body without any judgment, coming out of that mind and into that feeling body, that emotional body, which is where the work is done. We can talk and talk and talk for years about our trauma, and by trauma I mean anything that's happened to us. It's not too little. Nothing is too little. So let's not minimize what we've experienced in our life. Some people have experienced extreme trauma. Some people have experienced, other things that they class as, this is not a big deal, or I'll be right, type attitude. So yeah, I go through that. I ask the person to breathe at certain times. There'll be times where I'll feel they're holding, even just holding their breath, but holding something in their muscles, and I will ask someone to sort of dive a bit deeper into it with a sigh or a deep release breath. After the bodywork session, and whatever comes up, I hold space for that person. Some people go to sleep. There really is no right or wrong. It is just how it's exactly meant to be, and what comes in at what time as well. After the session, I do a quartz singing bowl sound healing, which reaches that frequency that sort of dissipates that healing, and it talks to our body on a cellular level as well. It's absolutely beautiful, and I think now more than ever, sound frequency is very potent. After that, I close down the space. I do smudge the space, and I do use a prayer. So I close down the space, and I guess ground the person, and then the session will be ended. And then afterwards we might have a debrief, or sometimes people are just really willing to go, and I highly recommend obviously nurturing and loving time after that, because obviously there's a transition back into our reality, and within seconds going out into society, things can come back and start to build up. So it's about really treating yourself like the young you, and loving you, and really giving yourself that space and that time to honor, because potentially there are other emotions that are going to flutter in and out through the next little while. So journaling and anything that speaks to you to sort of guide, and your guides and guardians will share with you what it is that you need to know at that time. So that's a little bit about, I guess, how the session looks. And yeah, I hope you're all well and really looking after yourselves, really listening to your intuition. Blessings from Love Healing Transformations, and I hope to see you soon.